welcome everyone. My name is Brian Cavazos and I'm here tonight to give y'all a story. So I'm pretty sure like most of y'all, we've all faced challenges, right? We've all, came across something that is just, a heavy load, something that we can't overcome, and we struggle a little bit, right? I mean, for some of us, it might be mental, it might be taking on 5 classes a semester. Hey, I've done that before. It might be, starting a new job or career. It could be anything. It could be just something that's stressful and a challenge. The other day I saw a guy at the mall. He had twins in a stroller. He had a baby on the leash or a toddler on the leash and a baby on his chest. And I'm like, okay, that's a challenge, right? So, and your challenge may not look like that. Your challenge might look like, something physical. It might be a new hobby you started. Maybe it might be a new training regime. It might be a new diet. There's always a challenge that we all face, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my challenge, and this has to do with hiking, right? So several years ago, I took a trip to Mexico and I went on vacation with my family, and I was born there, but I hadn't been there in years, so I was what they call culture shock. I was like, okay, where am I? This is a crazy place. And it was kind of funny because where my mom lives is kind of like a ranch style place. So there was like, most of my cousins were walking around, barefoot, shirtless, and it's like middle of the summer, so like the ground is stupid hot, and it's just so hard to walk. But they're walking barefoot, and there was this culture thing where it was cool to be tough. It was cool, to walk around on hot ground and be okay. It was cool to be a man and do things right and do things manly. Oh, anyways, on the last week we were gonna hike up to this place called La Sierra de la Luna, which is something like Half Moon Lake or something. It's at the top of a famous mountain in Monterey, and there's a really nice lake there. Well, anyways, we're hiking up, and we're just sightseeing. We're going through beautiful scenery, waterfalls. We're seeing wildlife, doing all sorts of stuff. And there's like little like smaller lakes on the way to the top, and we're just dipping in them, and it's all good. Well, I ended up losing my shoes, right? Like I had water shoes or something like that. I forgot exactly what I had, but I had something on and I lost them in the water. And I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna have to continue hike up barefoot like most of my cousins. And this was a really tricky part. It was a challenge to me because I'm thinking, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, right? Like if they're walking around barefoot, there's thorns, there's rocks, but if they can do it, I'm up for the challenge. I can hike up this mountain barefoot, just like my cousins. Some of them are younger than me. It's like, heck yeah, I can do it, right? So I see this challenge and I'm like, I'm gonna take it straight on. I'm gonna do it. So anyways, we're hiking up the mountain. I'm struggling, I'm not gonna lie, but I made it. And we were almost around the corner to this Half Moon Lake when one of my uncles just comes sprinting down the mountain. He goes, hey, get out, there's bears. And right, this was like one of my drunk uncles. We don't really take seriously, so we're like, whatever. So we keep walking several steps and we just hear like thunderous roars around the corner. And there's we turn the corner and there's these like massive bears just fighting in the water. And immediately they see us and we run, right? We book it. So here's like this whole pack of wild Hispanics, and we're running down this mountain. Mind you, I don't have shoes, right? So I'm running down the mountain barefoot. It was just so challenging. It was so tough. At the end of the hike, my feet were all bloody. There were thorns, I kid you not, this big inside my feet, and it was just a horrible experience. And all in all, I did learn something though. I noticed that at the beginning there was a challenge, and I handled it a certain way. Now the interesting thing is I had another cousin that lost his shoes, but he was smart and he was like, I know that I can't walk barefoot up this mountain. So he got his shirt and someone else's shirt, tied it around his feet and made makeshift shoes. And I'm like, what? Like he's a weakling, I'm not gonna do that. So he was smart. That's how he handled that challenge. But I myself, I was like, I'm gonna take this head on, I can do it. So we all respond to challenges differently. And as it turns out, something horrible happened to me. My feet got bloody. It wasn't cool. It was just messing up. And like I said, we all try something different. All in all, we always learn something different at the end of the day. I learned that I can't always, compare myself to others and say that I can do it their way. I sometimes just have to say I got to do things my way, even if it doesn't look, culturally cool as I wanted it to be. And, in any situation, we can either become bitter or better. And, I took this situation, and even though it's something so small, a little bit funny and kind of subtle, it kind of taught me something in life that whenever I'm faced with a challenge, I'm not going to try to, prove myself to others. Because that's exactly what I was trying to do in this challenge. I was trying to prove myself to my cousins, to their friends, that I could do it, that even though I was from, this like pasty Hispanic from the US, that I could still do it. But in the end of the day, it just hurt me and I failed. And yet I had a cousin who was a great example, who used his shirt, who was, smart and thought things through and actually did things right. And I thought next time I should just let go of my pride and be smart in every situation. Not just take the challenge head on, but think about what I'm gonna do. And that's basically the lesson that I learned, that never compare yourself to others in the midst of any challenge. Like I said, your challenge may look differently. You might think, I'm gonna be taking 4 classes this semester, but my friend's taking 5, I should do it. And then now you have a challenge and you're gonna fail because you're trying to, live up to somebody else. But I learned, and I hope that you all learned tonight, that if you are faced with a challenge, don't compare yourself, don't let your pride stick in, and just be smart about it. That's it. Thank you. All right, take 2.